Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today is the second Friday of January. It is the 10th of January. So I am coming here to not only do my week 2 paycheck to paycheck budget, but of course I'm going to stuff my envelopes. I have all my cash ready. I have my 3 cash envelopes, and then I have my binder full of my sinking funds all ready to be stuffed. So if you guys are interested in watching me do my paycheck to paycheck to budget and then filling my cash envelopes, stay tuned for the video.
Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing? In Christmas times, we'll be chilling and having a good time.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start with my paycheck to paycheck budget, and then we will move into getting the sinking funds stuffed. So I'm actually just going to take this page out and set my Erin Condren binder aside, and so we can just focus on this. So I'm going to start with my expenses. This is a paycheck to paycheck budget sticker kit that I sell in my Etsy shop. If you're interested, a link is in the description below. But I am going to lay out my expenses, my cash envelopes, my sinking funds, and then I'll come back up and do my income, and then I will do a breakdown of my paycheck down here at the bottom. So let's go ahead and get started. And these amounts that I am writing down are weekly amounts. I say that every time, but just in case there is someone new, I take a bills, and I already messed up. Let me grab my whiteout. So I take a bills monthly minimum payment, and I divide that by 4 or 5 depending on how many paychecks I have in that month. So there's 5 Fridays in January, so 5 paychecks, so I divide that out by 5 or 4, just depending on how many paychecks I have before that bill is due. So Apple is my first one, and I am going to be doing $6.75 for the week. Next is One Main. This one is a personal loan, and this weekly amount is $76.25. And then next we have my car loan, which is $153 for the weekly amount, followed by Hulu, which is the only thing we use for TV. We don't have Netflix or anything like that. We have Hulu Live. And then Verizon for our cell phones, which the weekly amount is $31.87. And then I have my kids' school account, which is $14 for the week, and then my daughter's tumbling, and that one is $13 for the week. And then last is rent, which this is one that I did divide out by 5 because I have 5 Fridays, so 5 paychecks before that rent is due. So we are going to go ahead and add up these expenses and write them down in our totals section. So I have $675 plus $76.25 plus $153, $59, $31.87, $14, $13, and $40. So we have $300. No, hold on, something isn't right. Okay, let me back up. $675. You guys already saw the mistake. You guys are so good about catching my mistakes before I do. $31.87, $14, $13, and $40. That is right. Oh, I know what I did. Hulu. I was going to say, that is not what I was coming up with. Hulu, that is the monthly amount. The weekly amount is $11.80. Okay. Third time's a charm. $6.75, $76.25, $153, $11.80, $31.87, $14, $13, and $40. Okay, that is better. $346 and 67 cents for expenses. So now I'm going to go down here and do my cash envelopes. And I have 3 cash envelopes that I fill every week. So the first is gas. And every week I do $40 for gas. And then we have groceries. And that one I do $80, and then the last is spending. And spending also gets $40. So that puts that total at $160. And then the long list, which is also my most favorite, is sinking funds. Last week was the very first week that I started stuffing 8 additional sinking funds. I had previously been doing 7 sinking funds, but then I added 8 more to my list starting for 2020. So the first one is my first child's savings sinking fund, which I'm doing 10. And then and these are in alphabetical order just because it's easier for me to wrap my brain around it if there is some type of order to it. Back to school is getting 20. Car insurance, and car insurance, this is for a premium. I already paid my 6-month premium, but I am stuffing it now for the next premium, which will be due in July, and that's $15. Car maintenance, this one will get 10. Christmas, we do 25. I say we, by we I mean I. My next child's savings fund is 10. And then I have gifts, which also gets 10. Household, I do 15. My kids' envelope gets 20. My third child's savings will also be at 10. And then I have medical, which gets 5. Personal care, I do 15. My personal savings, I do already have a $1,000 emergency fund saved up, so this is just going into extra. And then school tuition, and that would be for the 2020 to 2021 year, is $36. That'll be due in August. And then last is vacation. I do not have a specific vacation in mind, but I want to start saving for when the time comes. So I'm going to go ahead and add all of these sinking funds up, as there are quite a lot of them. So we have 10, 20, 15, 10, 25, 10, 10, 15, 20, 10, 5, 15, 20, 36, and 20. So $241 is my total for sinking funds. So I have all my expenses and whatnot ready to go. We have expenses here, cash envelopes, and sinking funds. So I'm going to go back up to the top here and we will jot down our income. And again, by we, I mean I don't know why I keep saying that. And I only do my full-time job and my part-time job. I do not use my online income for my weekly budgeting because I want to know that I can pay my bills and my sinking funds without the online income, just in case, God forbid, something happens and I no longer have that income anymore. So today is 110. That is when I got paid for my full-time job, and that amount was $575. And then my part-time job came in on the 8th, and that was $195. So for those two income amounts, we have $770. And now it does happen that sometimes my income does not cover all the expenses I have here, but I do have extra cushion in my checking account that basically sits in there as an extra debt snowball payment that I do one time per month. So it basically just sits there, and if I ever need to use it to cover a paycheck to paycheck budget because things don't pan out right, I definitely do. It doesn't happen often, but it's there if I need it. So this down here is going to be my paycheck to paycheck breakdown. So I'm just jotting down my categories quick. Okay, so for income, we had the $770 even. And then expenses were the $346.67. Our cash envelopes were $160. And our sinking funds were $241. So now we have the moment of truth. I can move the paper. Okay, so I'm going to first add up my expenses. So we have the $346.67 plus the $160 plus the $241. Ooh, close. So $747.67 minus the $770. So we're left with $22.33. Is what I am left with this week for my paycheck after all of my bills are due or paid. So what I do with this amount is that just goes into my checking account as that cushion, and then will be used at the end of the month for a debt snowball payment. So now I am going to go ahead and get all of my money laid out so that we can start stuffing the envelopes. Okay, so I'm going to start with my 3 cash envelope expense envelopes. So the first one is groceries, and I do have $5 left in groceries. So I'm just going to set that to the side here, and groceries gets $50 a week. So we'll do 20 or 50, 70, and 80. We'll get that in there and put that one to the side. And let's adjust my bills here so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, next is spending. Spending has $10 left, so again I'm going to set that to the side, and spending gets $20 this week. If I can get this puppy open, there we go. So spending is done, and then last is gas. We have nothing left in gas. Gas is going to get $40 for the week. And that will close out our cash envelopes, and those 3 envelopes will go into my billfold. And now we will do our sinking funds. So the first one, this is my sinking fund binder. I have all of my sinking funds laid out in here. The first one is my first child sinking fund. So last week, get this in, last week I stuffed it for the first time and we did $10. So we pull it out, we still have 10 in there, and I'm going to add another 10. So that will put this envelope at $20 for the second week of January. And these envelopes do come from my Etsy shop. They are completely personalizable. You can get the tracker on the back, you can get them hole punched, You can get the front personalized or just left blank, so you can write with a wet erase marker and wipe it off. And then the same with the trackers, you just use the wet erase marker. Okay, so that one has 20. So back to school, I just started filling last week, so last week it had 20. And I'm going to add another 20 to that. And that will put this envelope at $40. And this one, obviously, I am saving to put towards back to school shopping, which will probably start around August, or the beginning of August. So I am saving for that. Car insurance for my premium last week had 15, and we're going to add another 15 to that one. So that will put this total at 30. And this one is due July 15th. And then that will be for my premium from July to December. Car maintenance last week had 180. So we have 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110. Hold on. Missed a 50. I was going to say, that's really short. Okay, try again. 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180. We're going to add 10. Move that one to 190. That 50 just got stuck right on the inside. So 110, adding in 10, puts us to 190 for car maintenance. Next is Christmas. Last week we were at 175. So 1, 20, 40, 60, 65, 70, 75, and we're going to add 25, so that'll put us at 200 for the week for Christmas, which is pretty exciting to know that it's only the second week of the year and there's already $200 in my Christmas sinking fund, which some of that was rolled over from last year. I think 100 of it was. So that's pretty exciting. Last year was the first year that I actually had a Christmas sinking fund, and so I went into the Christmas shopping season and did not have to use any of my unbudgeted money or any credit cards or go into any kind of debt for Christmas presents. I did it all with money that I had saved for the entire year. So it was super exciting. This is my second child's savings, and he had 10 in there last week, and I'm going to add another 10. So that will put, if I can get it in there, that will put that envelope at 20 for the week. And then gifts, last week had 130. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 91, 110, 120, 130. We'll add another 10. That'll put that one at 140. And I don't really have anything coming up, like anything that I would use this envelope for. So I think I'm just going to continue to fill it and see where we end up with it. Next is household. Last week it was at 105. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, 105. We're going to put 15 in there. Which will put us at 120. And this one I use, like, especially if we go to Sam's Club, I like to get like my paper products, laundry detergent, soap, toilet paper, you know, all of that stuff. I like to get that from Sam's Club, but that's what I use this envelope for, is basically anything like that, cleaning supplies, that kind of stuff. My kids' envelope last week was at 170. So we have 20, 40, 60, 81, 120, 140, 160, 170. It's going to get 20, which will put it at 190. So some of these are getting pretty high, which I love. I hate spending money out of sinking funds. I like watching the amounts increase, and I hate having to take money out of them. So I guess that's good. It helps me not spend it, but I know that the money is there if I need it. This is my third child savings, so last week it had 10. So we're going to add another 10 to that. Whoa. And that will put hers at 20 for the week. And then medical. So I did spend January 2nd, I had a copay, so I took 25 out, but we were at 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. I'm going to add another 5, which will bring us to 45 for this week. I've been pretty lucky. My kids have stayed fairly healthy for the last few months. There is a lot of like influenza B going around and strep throat and RSV, so I'm just hoping that it stays away from us. Personal last week had 125. So we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, 15, 110, 115, 120, 125. We're going to add in 15, which will put it at 140. So there's the 10th. We're at 140. So rent, this isn't a sinking fund obviously, but I had $40 in there last week. I'm going to add another 40. And I put it in an envelope because I pay this in cash to my parents because I lived in a family-owned house and the rent goes to them. That's why it is so inexpensive for anybody wondering. This one is my personal savings. Last week had 20, and I'm going to add another 20 to that, which will put my savings at 40 for the second week of January. School tuition, last week was at 36, and we're going to add another 36. So we have 20, 30, 35, and 36, which will put us at 52, 20, 40, no, 62, 20, 40, 72. Wow, my math is great. 20, 40, 50, 60, 65, 70, 72. Just forget that I said any of that. Okay, so we're adding 36. Puts us at 72. Last sinking fund is vacation. Last week I added 20, so we're going to add the last 20 that I have here, which will put us at 40 for this envelope. And then the last one that I stuff here is this debt snowball, and that is where this money comes in from my extra from my cash envelopes. So we're adding in $15 to debt snowball. So let me write that down, and then I'll put it in here. So we have 17 in here already. So now we're going to have 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 31, 32. And with that, I put that money towards my extra debt snowball payment at the end of the month. So there we go. We have all of my envelope stuff. Some of these are getting pretty full, which makes me happy. But that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video today and my budgeting for this week. And I hope you guys have a good weekend. Thank you so much for watching. Give the video a big thumbs up. Subscribe down below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!